You're watching the PlantX Vodcast. Join us as we explore the inner workings of all things plant-based and all things PlantX, from the products and lifestyles to the people behind them. Now welcome our host, the man who combined his love of e-commerce and the plant-based lifestyle to create PlantX, Sean Dollinger.
Hi, welcome to the PlantX Vodcast, Season 4. And today we have Sarah from Too Good To Go on the show. Can't wait to share what they do and her role at the company. She's obviously done an incredible job with the traction that we see on the flip side over here at PlantX. It's a bit of a different guest because it's a app similar to kind of the platform we are introducing different brands that exist in the plant-based world. They do it for all types of restaurants and grocery stores, and we'll obviously get a deeper dive with her shortly, but activating different cities with brands that have products expiring. I'm really intrigued by it, definitely seen the traction, and today before the show I even went ahead and downloaded it and took a look at it, and it's so easy to use and just makes perfect sense. I love when that happens. For anybody joining us for the first time, thank you very much for our regular viewers. What PlantX is all about, we're your one-stop shop for everything plant-based. So if you're looking for meal delivery, which has now been around for a couple of years, the reviews are off the chart. So if you haven't had a chance to order, I definitely encourage you. And the website, Alex and the team has done an unbelievable job on that website, xmeals.ca. So xmeals.ca. And it is, the functionality on it, I really love. And after last week, Portfolio Coffee, which PlantX owns 51% of, portfoliocoffee.ca. Again, the functionality is so great. And then obviously juices at littlewest.com. So again, if you're looking for meal delivery, plant-based products, we now have, I believe, somewhere around 5,000 different products, not only listed on our website, but on Walmart and Hudson's Bay, and more avenues coming out every single day. And not only is it PlantX, but it's veganessentials.com as well. And all those products ship from our brick and mortar locations, one in Squamish, BC, where that's a 15,000 square foot store experience for people to come and enjoy. I get to go out there a couple times a week, and seeing everybody's faces when they experience it for the first time is so rewarding in itself. And then in Chicago, as our viewers know, we're creating the largest vegan food hall. We have about 6 different concepts going in there. Looking forward to sharing a lot more about that. We obviously have our retail store and then our whole e-com fulfillment center. A couple weeks back, we launched with Very Good Butcher. Off to an incredible start. They have over 100,000 customers on their customer lists, and they obviously let everyone know now the products are available to be fulfilled on plantx.com, veganessentials.com, and people are coming into the store. And part of the whole food hall will actually have a Very Good Butcher stand where people could come buy their meats for barbecuing, etc. So really exciting times at PlantX. We constantly see the company growing, expanding, the word getting out there. And, that leads us to our guest, Sarah. Welcome to the show, and thank you very much for everything you're helping us with at PlantX.
Thank you, Sean. Great to be here.
So before we jump in, we always start by asking our guests, how do you take your coffee?
The most important question, obviously. I take it strong and black.
Awesome. Love it. And you'd love it if you go to our location in Squamish, the black coffee over there, the strong. Wow, is it strong? So next time you're out this way, definitely let me know.
I can't wait. Yeah. The problem with black coffee is you can't mask any, if it's weak, it's not very good. You can't mask it with cream or sugar, but when it's good, it's like perfect.
I hear you on that. Absolutely. And love what you guys are doing. Obviously, my background's e-com. Typically, when I get involved in businesses, I really, really struggle with inventory, keeping track of it, making sure it doesn't disappear. And now in the plant-based space, expiry, that's a big, big deal. And we obviously had challenges with that because how do you know when you're starting a store, how much product do you order and all of that. So definitely love what you guys are doing. Maybe you could give our viewers a little bit of an overview on all of that.
Mm-hmm. You have it right hit the nail on the head there. What we do is we connect businesses with consumers who have surplus food at the end of the day. So as you know, the nature of food waste is unpredictable. Businesses don't know how much food they're going to have. You can estimate and you'll have trends. You might know purchase habits per day, per week, but getting that precision down to having exactly the right number of products to sell and exactly the right number of consumers is a very careful balance. We know that there's a ton of food waste in the world. 58% of all the food that Canada produces goes to waste, which is an egregiously high number, especially when you're thinking of the global average is only 40%, which is already too high. So we know that there's a great opportunity for a lot of that food that is perfectly good to eat to find its way into the stomachs of Canadians who are looking to purchase it. And we perform a very simple function of connecting those two desires. So when businesses have food at the end of the day that didn't sell at their regular price, they can add it to the app. Consumers can go onto the app, select that store and that location, purchase it, and then they go to the store, show their phone, and they can swipe and pick up, and they'll get amazing goodies that would otherwise have been sold for full price earlier in the day for 1/3 the retail cost. So we love it because it's a win for the businesses, win for the consumers, and win for the planet because we're helping to reduce the effects of food waste that go into the environment via greenhouse gas emissions.
Yeah, I can't believe that percent, 40 plus, I would have never imagined. That's, the amount of food that goes to waste in North America.
Yeah, it's really high. And there's no shame in us acknowledging that number. It's really important that we do recognize that there's a huge amount of waste, but the shame is really not doing anything about it. So the more that we can expand throughout Canada, the more that we can connect businesses with those consumers, the better we can do to help everyone just increase their knowledge about what that food waste looks like as well. And we always say there's not just the food waste at the retail level. I think you and I can probably both think about food waste that we have at home. So thinking differently about how we're consuming, how we're purchasing, the amount of food that we have that goes to waste, even from just leftovers, is it's an interesting thing with a pretty simple solution.
Yeah, no, and obviously, even though Squamish, for example, I'll use that as a location that I visit a couple days a week, the sticker shock, and even though we're competitive, like, as we know, inflation and all these things that are taking place, and again, we try to buy right, we go right to manufacturers, we try to get the cheapest prices, but if I love something, I don't mind spending whatever that ticket might be, but it's really, really great if I could pay 1/3 of the price to try out a few products and then be like, wow, this is awesome. And the next time I could get it. Mm-hmm. So love what you're doing.
Yeah, for the consumer, it's amazing because you are getting it for 1/3 the retail price. And we're seeing last month, inflation numbers came up and they're over 11% year over year on food, which is a huge amount to go up in 1 year. And that on things that we need, everyone needs to eat. So it's not that you can really cut that line item off of your budget. The benefit also for businesses is food that would be going straight to the garbage otherwise. So you're making some incremental revenue off of food that you've already made, lovingly produced, put time and effort into. And I'm sure that anyone who makes food or owns a food-based business knows that you don't want to put that into the garbage, or you don't want to have to constantly be thinking of ways to reduce how much you're producing. And this really allows for there to be a way for you to make some money off of that as well, which is really great.
Yeah, and one thing we're experiencing, which we obviously spoke about at the start, and I think you mentioned 70% of people come back after experiencing the location. For us, it's getting these new eyes, new shoppers that might not even have walked into a plant-based vegan store, and then they're like, oh wow, this is actually really cool. I didn't know they'd have these products, and away we go.
Yeah, anecdotally, I can tell you too, I was traveling last week and I was in a new city and you don't necessarily know all the restaurants when you're traveling somewhere new. And so I opened the app and then I reserved bags there, and then you can try out a new restaurant or a new store or a new location. And it's really fantastic for that kind of like sampling. And then of course, if you love the items that you got, you'll go back to the store to buy at full price because you've already done that proof point. And so it's really amazing for the businesses to be able to also get a new audience for that consumer base as well.
Yeah, no, the app is great. And you spoke a little bit about the functionality. Who uses this app? What's the main user?
Everybody. Anyone who likes to eat, really. I am I would say, our core demographic. I love food. I love trying out new places, but I also love saving money. And I'm really conscious about not producing more waste. But it's really anybody from my mom to a student who's looking to save money and looking to save the environment, and anybody who is living in a city where we do operate. We tend to see that there's a really broad consumer base. The typical consumer is somebody who's a little bit more mobile. So because you have to go and pick up, we don't do delivery and we'll never connect to a delivery service. The times have to work for you and the locations have to work for you. But you and I were chatting before we got online here, and you were asking me about where I live and the area in the city, and I traverse the city back and forth every day. And so across that travel point, I can pick up from many different locations. It doesn't have to just be where I am at that moment. I can say, okay, I'm riding my bike home after work, so I can stop by these 3 and pick up bags on my way home because I know the pickup windows work for me. And so it's a really nice way to be able to also feed into your normal kind of transit route.
Yeah, what I loved about your app, and obviously this goes to your credit, is, we open up in a new city, like Venice wasn't even a thing. And then all of a sudden, we say, hey, is there any way? They're like, oh, it's a couple months. Oh, by the way, amazing news. We were able to get this activated next week for you. It's pretty incredible how agile your platform is and how quickly it can move.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way. Yeah, we're really simple for businesses to join. You can just go to our website, which is toogoodtogo.ca, and sign up there. And it's really available for any food-based business. And I say that sometimes people think that means only those restaurants or stores that sell food, but it can be literally anything. A corner store, convenience store has waste. Anything that sells food, we know that there is a certain degree of waste there. So any kind of business, we encourage you to sign up, and you can start making money off of your surplus food basically within the hour.
Awesome. And I don't know if it's public knowledge, but how many businesses do you have signed up? How many shoppers? And, how many bags have you done so far?
Yeah, we have about 4,500 businesses across the country. We're in 10 markets now, and we just launched last July. So that's a pretty good trajectory of growth since then. We are coming up on our 1 millionth meal saved, which will happen later this month, which is a really exciting milestone for us. We save about 3,500 to 4,000 bags a day across the country. So if you think of the amount of waste that would otherwise be produced from that, we save about 2.5 kilos of greenhouse gas emissions per bag. So it's a really impactful number when you're thinking about that across the country and across that breadth. And we sign up somewhere around 2,000 to 3,000 people per day via the app. So our growth is continuous. Obviously, we're looking to continue to expand and really deepen how many businesses and how many users we have in the markets where we currently exist.
Love it. It's awesome what you guys are doing. And I guess one quick question to throw into the mix is, how did you decide on the different size baskets? I know that we're limited on our side. Like, it's not like you want us to offer a $50 or $100 down by 2/3. Where was the sweet spots determined?
That's a really interesting question. It's more based on what works for the business. So if you have a ton of surplus that day, we encourage you to put on more bags because that allows for more people to be able to pick them up. We don't want to produce more waste. So if you had a bag that you were selling for, say, $20 on the app, that would be, 3 times the amount of that food. And that would probably, a lot of that food would probably still go to waste. So our sweet spot, our bags range anywhere for the consumer price from $3.99 to around $7.99. There are some examples of larger bags in that $8.99, $9.99, $15.99 range, but that's a really kind of outlying situation. The sweet spot is around $5 to $7.99. Because from that, you're then getting upwards of $25, $30 worth of food in that bag. And we tend to find that that's the amount that doesn't produce additional waste from that, and then also allows the store to have that flexibility to add more bags, potentially at a lower price point. If you only have, say, $3.99 worth of things left over, you can add an additional bag that way as well.
Love that. Makes a lot of sense. Thank you for sharing. And, Sarah, as you know, this is a live podcast, so we obviously want to thank the viewers for taking time out of their day. Thank you very much. Obviously, we have a few more questions for you, and we encourage anybody watching the show today, please send in questions you might have, feedback, things we're doing really great, things we could improve on, guests that you'd like us to have on, and we'll go ahead and send out a $100 gift card via email. So email myself, Sean, SEAN, @plantx.com. So we could get that out, and it'll work pretty much on any of our websites. Jacqueline's been doing a wonderful job in the back end, connecting all of the loyalty memberships that we have throughout all of our platforms. So if you shop on Portfolio, if you shop on Littlest, PlantX, if you go shopping in any of our stores, it all connects. And that was not easy to execute on. So much thought went into it, and challenge us, go out there and explore and have fun with it. So please go ahead and, send your feedback, send questions that we could ask Sarah here live. I'm blown away by the platform. I absolutely love what they do, and I love the traction. So it's not just a great concept. It's not, active, but on top of it, it's also firing on all cylinders. And as you heard, they've just been around a couple of years. And that's what I love seeing, is traction in business. We focus a lot on that at PlantX, where, we have so many different verticals, and where does that energy need to go so that it takes off? So great. And thank you for being active, Sarah. So, one thing that we spoke about before we jumped on here today was a little bit about how you go into a different market like Venice Beach, California, or a store in Uptown. And before we could even push the go button, people already know about it and they're lining up. Before our staff even, we think, okay, we have a couple of days to get things together. No, line up the first day, people waiting for it. We haven't seen that kind of stickiness or engagement. How do you go about achieving all that?
Well, I'm super happy that was the experience for you. And we're really, really lucky that we are getting a lot of people who are interested, who have heard about us from other markets or have seen either on social. We have a pretty robust social following, which does a really great job for us because it showcases a lot of beautiful food. And so I think if you're seeing that food consistently and that people are getting it and saving it from waste, you want to do that too. So we've heard a lot from markets where we're not yet live saying, please come to this market, and we're doing our best to grow as quickly as possible. PR is my role and responsibility. So it warms my heart to hear that you think that there is stickiness and that there's good word of mouth. We are really, really interested in sharing our message. So our chief message is really eliminating food waste. That's our primary goal. That's what we're looking to do. And if that message resonates, as I think that it has, that really showcases itself in those people who are looking to save food from waste and also save money on food, which is a really fantastic testament to the work that we've done globally and then how we've been able to launch in Canada. We also, as you're seeing here, have a lot of really compelling information on the impacts of what we're doing. And I think as we start to become smarter consumers, as we're concerned more with our longevity and environmental impact, that resonates a lot for people. And working with and helping to support companies who have a mandate that is a little bit higher than just profit seeking does tend to really attract an audience that is a little bit stickier. They're willing to potentially open an app multiple times a day to see what's available or walk to that location to see what's available. And the convenience is put secondary when you're purchasing something that you believe in. And so I can speak for myself and I can speak for our organization in Canada, but we're really, really pleased with how we've seen that receptivity from our customer base here and the amazing partners we've joined with who have really helped to share that message as well.
Yeah, that's great. And thanks for sharing that. And again, congratulations on all the success of that. And one thing I'm blown away by as well is, I went And I'm like, call me a little bit old school. I'm like, the website's not working. The website's not working. And you're like, well, we're 100% app based. And that's kind of a bold move when you're starting out. And it's obviously proven to be super successful because you hold the power, obviously, once an app is on somebody's phone. So it's pretty impressive that you guys went that route and you're still increasing 2,000 to 3,000 downloads a day. It's quite impressive, So maybe you could speak about that move to start off with. And then two, obviously there's no charge to your app. How do you go about monetizing?
Yeah, and that's funny. When I first started working with Too Good To Go, I obviously downloaded the app, was the first thing that I did, and then played around with it. It didn't even occur to me to go straight to the website. So I think that that's an interesting perspective too, to say how we've changed our perception of everything lives on my phone now. We actually started as a website. So we were founded in 2016 in Denmark and expanded to 16 markets throughout Europe and then to the US and then to Canada. So while we are fresh to Canada in the fact that we're still under 2 years old, we do have that longevity in Europe and the success and the proven models that work there. So we were able to really benefit from their expertise on that. Everything kind of lives in your phone, as I was saying. And so I think that model made a lot of sense for us, especially because we were moving to a pickup system. So if you're going to pick up, it makes a lot of sense to just swipe your phone, show the phone, have everything transacted through there. And it also makes it super easy for businesses to be able to sign up so that they're only responsible for having the interface at their stores as well, that they can do via, an iPad or a tablet or something, and then also on their phone. It's just for ease of use and ease of accessibility. And everything on the website is more informative than it is action oriented. That really does happen through the app, but there's still a ton of really helpful information. And if you are a business, you can go to our website, which is toogoodtogo.ca, and then click the For Businesses tab and sign up there, and someone will reach out to you and get you onboarded super quickly. So I'd say it's a nice resource, but really every, kind of action that will get that boot into your hands happens via the phone. And then the second question you asked in terms of subscription or fee is a really smart one as well. The only thing that you pay for is the food that you pick up. So you can be a passive user, you can be an everyday user, and the charge that you get is only when you purchase something. There's no subscription in terms of having the app on your phone or using that, infrequently or frequently. You pay when you pick up, and everything happens directly via your phone. You will always see the original amount of the food that you're picking up and then the discounted amount. So there's full transparency in what you're getting there. And, if you don't use the app, which we encourage you to do, if you don't use the app for 6 months, there's no additional charge to anything there. There's no charge to download. It's really just for the food that you purchase.
Yeah, I love these podcasts. One, we get to meet really interesting people like yourself to share about these awesome companies, but also it gives a chance, for myself to even learn by the architecture that you've used to set up the website and using the site really more as the business oriented to sign up the vendors and really create that interactive tool on the phone. And, even when I was scrolling through, and I'm glad to hear that it's more than a year or two, because I was really blown away by your app and the ease behind it. But then seeing the reviews, and then, for our investors and shareholders and customers watching today, great news. I asked, is 4.7, 4.5 a great score? Because people could then rate on the product that we're actually giving away. And, it means that it was put together properly, that the team's doing a great job, and it really reflects on what PlantX stands for. So really exciting to share that, and I loved how that was presented. We're obviously running a little bit short on time, so we'll flip over to some live questions. And Utherex, who's a regular weekly, asked, why not add a delivery side to your platform? Obviously, we don't want you to, because we want people to come in the door, but maybe you could share what your thoughts are.
Great question. I think it's a really natural question. We are a sustainably based company, so we're a B Corp. We hold ourselves to the highest level of sustainability, and part of that is that we are working to lower the amount of greenhouse gas emissions that go into the environment, and we don't want to be providing another avenue via delivery for that to happen. So yes, I guess the pushback on that could be there could be bike delivery, or there could be third party that does it in a sustainable way. For ease of use, for ease of service, it really is a consumer to business interaction without an additional third party. And we want to maintain that ease of service and ease of use. And as you were saying, Sean, too, there is an added benefit that we really do believe strongly for our partners, that you're getting more foot traffic into the door, you're getting more potential customers. We don't want to remove that benefit from you. And we really do want them to be able to go and check out new places or go back to their favorite place repeatedly. And I think there's a level that you lose from that if you do add another delivery service. We will, if you want to take transit or drive to go pick up, that's completely under your volition, but we really do encourage people to think sustainably about their pickup methods as well.
Yeah, we just want people in the door at PlantX. I went to our Ottawa location. It's in the Bay, in the mall, and I was like, wow, this place is awesome. I didn't want to leave. And, really it was open for about 8 months before I went to our Squamish location. It's just, you feel this energy. So for us, it's a great way. So not only are we allowing people to have this opportunity and saving the world, by not wasting. It's just a win-win-win. And that's when I believe things become so successful, like you guys obviously are. So great job on that. Quick question here. What are your top performing categories? Is it baked goods?
Globally, yes, it's baked goods. Everywhere it's baked goods. I'd say it's really fun data analysis for us to look at too. We're constantly seeing what performs best. The category that we have the highest level of stores in is baked goods as well. So there's a natural then uptick in that being our most popular category. The rationale for that also, if you're thinking about what items, what stores, what kinds of verticals of stores have the most production, it's usually those baked good categories. So we do see, and that food tends to not keep for as long in store as well. So there is just an added level of food waste just that comes naturally. And definitely the baked goods category, it's a little bit of a catch-all. It could include croissants, it could include sandwiches, it could include cookies. And we do our best to make sure that those descriptions on the app are as up to date as possible as well, so that it might be pastries as opposed to a sandwich. But for the most part, everyone seems to love the baked good category. I think it's just a really easy thing to have. And my best tip when I'm picking up baked goods bags as well is to freeze whatever I don't eat and then extend the life of that. And, I have, I think currently in my freezer, like 15 pain au chocolat that I serve to people when they come over. And then you have additional food that's super tasty. And so it's a really nice way to not be producing additional waste from that purchase.
Awesome. And I guess we'll end it with one more question before we do that. I'd like to announce the winner today. It's Miranda, and we'll go ahead and send her a $100 gift card. And what I love about the PlantX family is they take time out of their day to watch these vodcasts to educate themselves on what's actually going on at PlantX and how the company's improving and the next direction we're going to. And I believe from the Little West family, Cassandra's probably on today. And she said, hey, why don't we do something with Little West? They have a location and it's with fresh pressed juices. So we'll definitely connect her with your team because they have a location in LA. But her question was, do you have other fresh pressed juice companies that you work with?
You betcha. We are actually live in LA as well. So please feel free to reach out to the team there as well via their website, and they can get you onboarded quickly. We love fresh pressed juice. Like one of our first partners in Canada was a juice company, and they are fantastic. We tend to find that they also have very high levels of sustainability and are holding themselves to eliminating waste at a really high level. And people love those bags. The value is usually so fantastic and the product is amazing. So yes, more fresh pressed juice, please. Yes.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for taking time out of your day, Sarah. Really appreciate the partnership and everything you guys are doing, and look forward to seeing where this relationship goes.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. And thank you for partnering with us. It's amazing.
Awesome. Have a great rest of your day. Hey, again, another partnership showing you that PlantX keeps thinking outside the box. It's not just about our retail locations, our e-com, the food hall. It's about utilizing the resources, the team that we have to keep building this foundation that we could launch off of. And every day that goes by, I keep seeing that foundation get stronger and stronger. And again, really excited to share everything that we have in store. Everything takes time, but you can trust that we have our heads down and everything keeps growing the way it should be. I know there was a question from Christopher on the CTO. Again, the accounting team led by our CFO, Sharik, Lauren, our CEO, whose background, he's been a CA for over 18 years now. He has his own, auditing practice in Toronto. So he understands everything, and we understand the importance to accounting as a publicly traded company. As I mentioned on the last podcast, we did so many acquisitions in those first couple of years that it takes time to consolidate all the numbers. And with the change of auditors, because we outgrew the auditor that was local in Vancouver, it just is for everybody's protection out there to make sure everything's set up properly so that the company could expand now at an accelerated rate and not run into difficulties like this. So again, if you have any questions, you could always email Lorne directly, LORNE, at plantx.com, and he's extremely responsive. He's working 20-hour days, and he'll get back to any questions that come his way. Thanks again for joining. Thanks for taking time out of your day. Thanks for believing. Until next time, stay curious, stay planted, stay healthy.
Thanks for watching the PlantX podcast. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more information, go to investor.plantx.com. See you next time.
PlantX believes in a plant-based future for our health and the health of our planet. We've created a unique online shop for everything plant-based. Our intent on positioning globally is the core of our vision for investor accessibility and corporate growth. Learn more